Hey guys, Tim here with the Long Haired Gardener, and today I'm going to be spending some time here in my Philadelphia backyard doing some fall prep for the upcoming winter. I do want to say thank you to everybody who has commented and who has expressed interest in the tours that I do around Philadelphia. There are going to be some more of those coming up soon. Of course, there is a airplane coming over, so let's pause for a second. I can't do a garden video without there being some kind of airplane, helicopter, or somebody screaming in the background. So welcome to Philadelphia, where it is beautiful but noisy. What was I saying? So thank you to everybody who liked and commented about my videos where I walk around the city and do a little stroll and see what other people are growing, and also just kind of have a tour of Philadelphia. There will be more of those coming, and they are going to be focused on a lot of Halloween decorations because Philadelphia seems to go wild for Halloween, and I am all for that because Halloween is my favorite holiday. But because, like everybody, I have limited time here, I do need to focus a little bit of my time here in my backyard. I need to dig out my caladiums, I need to move a couple plants around, and maybe trim a few plants back because we are going to get rain for the next 3 days and it is finally cold. So I just need to get a few of these things done, and then we can get back to doing the garden strolls around the city. It has been incredibly dry, so everything is wilting, but like I said, we're going to get some rain. But I will just kind of do a little pan here just so you can see what the garden looks like in October. The geraniums and the Gara are still looking fantastic. I did not put the video up yet, but I am making a video where I cut back my pineapple plant and I cut off my pineapple. This is what it currently looks like, and it is going to be taken inside very shortly. The Chrysanthera is doing very nice this time of year. I hear another airplane, which is kind of crazy. The herbs are doing good. I already cut back the huge vine that was on the window. Philadelphia does have an international airport, so maybe that explains all of the airplane activity, which I block out of my mind until I'm filming, and then it's just very apparent. Things over here are looking okay. I do want to point out, so I'm gonna like pull out the petunia and maybe just cut a few things back. I do want to point out over here, if you've watched any of my other videos, my chicks and hens or sempervitum bowl has kind of been a struggle for me over the years. I have redone it a few times. Usually it's like a drainage thing. We apparently get too much rain for these particular plants and not enough rain for other plants. But anyway, I am declaring a little bit of defeat on the chicks and hens, and I have decided to put some other plants in here with them. So I thought sedum would be a good option. So I did just want to point out that I do have, give me a second, I think I have the pots. All right, I did keep the pot, which is good. So this is the name of this guy right here. And sedum, it's a little dirty, but coral reef is actually this reddish one right here. So I did add those two. And then I added this other low growing sedum from earlier in the season. So I've decided to make this a sedum and sempervitum bowl just because I'm tired of messing around with the chicks and hens, basically. Something else that needs to happen, in addition to pulling out the caladiums because they need to come in for the winter, I'm gonna need to pull down this hyacinth bean vine soon. This is one singular plant, this guy right here. It is all up in the tree. There are beans everywhere, so it's kind of crazy to think that a single plant is producing all of these beans, and many seeds are going to come from this one plant where I can grow more. So this is the single plant right here. So I may think about tearing this down from the tree possibly today, and I will be saving these seed pods. I also want to tear it down because this camera is not great on focusing in, but there are a crazy amount of aphids on this plant, so I kind of want to get rid of them. I brought in most of the house plants except for the split leaf philodendron back here, which is humongous, and I'm a little worried about where I'm going to put that. But I did take apart some of the spheres here. I took in the bromeliads and everything. Something else on the list today is I want to get this planted in the ground. This is a Hakanakloa. I'm not sure exactly which pronunciation is correct, but this is what it looks like. So that needs to find a home in the ground as well. So I'm going to start off by digging out all of these caladiums, which are everywhere. There's some over here. I am not going to record me doing that. I think everybody knows what digging out looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and dig those all out, and then I will show you what I'm going to do with them. As you can see, they are kind of everywhere, and they are starting to really wilt from the lack of water. All right, I have all of my caladiums dug out, and I kind of separated them here into the different varieties. And the way I store them is I just put them in a regular paper lunch bag with a little dry soil in the basement, and they go dormant over the winter. I will cut the foliage off, but that's all I do. They go in a cool, dark place, and I check them every now and then over the winter to make sure that they're not rotting and that they're not too dry. In the past, I have actually had my caladiums just dry up into dust because they can dry out. So every now and then throughout the winter, you do have to mist the corm or bulb just to make sure that they retain a little bit of moisture. As far as labeling goes, I just put a number on each bag, and I'm going to rely on this video and a picture I take with my phone just so I can see which caladium is in which bag. So it makes it a little bit easier next year when I put them out to know what they look like. I will say, so this is the second year, I think, for most of these caladiums. The bulbs look really good. Like, they're very healthy. Some of them are pretty large. This guy here is pretty big. So I'm happy about that. I'm also happy that I'm taking them out right before the rain so that I don't have any rotting issues. So normally I would say that I would leave the foliage on for a couple days just to let some of the nutrients go back into the bulb. But because it has been so dry and these are already starting to wilt, I feel like maybe they have already sent the signal that the show's over, and maybe they have already started to collect some of those nutrients. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut them off right now just to keep the show moving. And I think they will be just fine. Alright, next on the list is I'm going to move this echinacea plant, which I did not plant here. It just reseeded itself, and it is right up against these bricks that are down here. There's like a little brick between the sidewalk and the ground here, so it is right up against there. So I suspect that's going to be real fun to dig out. And then I want to put the hyacinth back here, and then also move this brunnera, which is back here. And I know this is going to be hard to watch, but I need to break some of these off so I can see what's going on. This brunnera typically, I guess, gets shielded by the plants that are in this pot, and it's not doing well after being here for at least 2 years. So I'm going to move that over here where we're taking out the echinacea, maybe moving this hosta here as well. Spider plant has to go, and then we're going to put the hyacinth in here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I will meet you back here when it's all done. So the crazy thing about the echinacea, which there's still a little bit of the root in there, it was actually growing in this crack right here. So it was a little challenging to get out. I had to dig out the bricks, and it broke into 2 pieces. I think there's enough roots here for this to survive. But now I have 2 echinacea, which I need to find a new home for. But now let me put these bricks back. Also, I think part of the reason why the brunnera was not doing so well, and my hostas aren't doing great either, there are a lot of tree roots in here, and I think they're just sucking up all of the water and nutrients. So we'll see. Hopefully moving these out here a little bit further will help, because it seems like there's a little less roots over here. That could just be me being hopeful. Alright, I already got the grass in, put the bricks back, and now I'm going to put this other hosta that's sitting right over here. I lost my shovel for a minute. I'm going to put this other hosta right here where the echinacea was, and I think that's going to look really nice. Alright, the sun has decided to come out, but I think this looks better already with the hyacinth back here, moved the hosta up front, and then the brunnera I put over here. A lot of this stuff is annual, so that won't be there, but I think this looks so much better already with these echinaceas out of the way. And I think I may just stick them over here. because underneath the banana there is a big empty spot, and there is an echinacea right here already. So I think for at least now, I'm just gonna pop those in right there. All right, the last thing on the list today is going to be to pull some of this hyacinth bean vine out of the tree. And I suspect this is going to be a comedy show of bugs flying all over me, because like I said, there are aphids, and I don't think this is going to come out of the tree very easily, but we shall see. Well, this is going as expected. None of the vine is attached to any of the plants at the top, and I still see a lot of plants even way at the top here. So those will be dying shortly. Lots of beans up here. Maybe I'll be able to snag a few. Looks like there's a piece right here. But it breaks surprisingly easy. So I am going to gather up a couple of these beans that don't have the aphids on them, and maybe trim some of this back, and then I think we're gonna call it quits for the day. All right, guys, I think that's everything for today. I got a crazy amount of beans off of this hyacinth bean vine. My sister wanted some, so I think I have some to give her. Just gonna put that down, and let me show you this mess. It is everywhere now. I did get a good amount of it out of the tree. I'm a little surprised. There's a couple pieces here and there, but I got more out than I thought I would. So as you can see here, I have a lot to clean up. I'm also bringing my clivia in for the winter. I partnered up my spider plant that was over here in the ground, and I'm going to need to water these things that I just moved. But overall, even though it looks like a disaster back here, I think it was a good day. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you liked this video, and don't forget to subscribe, if I could talk. And we're going to be doing some Halloween tours in the next coming weeks. So if that is of interest to you, please make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of those videos, and I will see you in the next garden video. Have a great day.